We're good? All right, we got to do this again.
Yeah, it's like that.
Ready? 3, 2, 1. What is up, everybody? It's the Basketballists with my co-host, Ralph. This is episode 52, and we have two special guests. Some of our closest friends slash know that family slash basketball family, whatever you want to talk about. We have JR and Jonas Harper. What's up, guys? Thank you guys for taking the time to, do this last minute, clean your schedules for this morning. And how's everybody doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, fellas. I mean, it's been a long time coming. I feel like with everybody, like Jonas being in Australia, Germany, me being in Ireland, like the fact that we're all together, we had to make it work.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, it's been so long since I've seen you guys. I think it's been like 8 months, 9 months.
It's weird not seeing you through an iPad.
Either Zoom, FaceTime
Right.
on the game. So it's definitely good to be back and see everybody.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad you're back in the States. And yeah, so Ralph, what's up with you?
Chilling, honestly. Like, work as usual. Like, if you've been listening to the pod, Yankees. So I'm there like every other week, and then
Man, it's always on the go.
yeah, and then just working in the office and stuff like that. But if not, just around basketball, trying to be around basketball a little bit more. But it's kind of like the off season period where like it's like the break from AAU going into like
All right, the live period.
Yeah.
This is
you know what I
June.
mean? So
June time is a little interesting.
it's a little slow, but getting back to it.
That's good. Yeah, training's picking up, so we'll see what happens. JR's official know that trainer.
Yes,
So
sir.
he'll be doing that
Know that, fam.
before he goes back. But yeah, no, we wanted to bring you guys on, obviously, but we wanted just to also show the audience that how basketball brings people into your lives and everybody's intertwined, and how you guys were connected.
Mm-hmm.
And then I met JR at a different point, but I knew Jonas. I didn't meet you until Jordan, who they also kind of knew too. So it's we want to, again, we're just bringing people on to show that, basketball is just more than just a sport, right? And but yeah, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about you guys playing basketball together growing up real quick.
See, I played with Jonas first. Me and Jonas played in
It's
fifth?
like 5th grade.
Yeah, 5th grade, Stanford Peace. And
Coach Brown yelling
yeah.
at us, it's a trap.
Back then, so I think I've said it on the pod once or twice before, but I was a forward. I was damn near.
I was nice.
I was damn near a center.
Nice.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If we would stand up right now, it'd be hilarious me saying that I'm a center, but I was low-key a center back then. So I played the 5. Jonas and them were the guards. So that guard big man friendship is that's everybody has that. You always know, you remember your favorite big or your favorite guard or whatever.
He was one of them for sure.
Yeah, so it's I mean, me and Jonas obviously clicked, whatever. The whole team, everybody clicked, and that honestly, one of my favorite AAU teams. That team was hilarious. We would joke all the time. So many stories we could get into, but yeah. So I played with Jonas first, and after that we kind of went down different paths, and then I ended up playing in 7th or 8th grade.
7th and 8th grade, I think.
Right,
Yeah.
with JR for Phoenix.
Phoenix.
So,
Doug Scott.
Doug Scott's old program.
yeah, bro.
It was with Darien, right?
Yeah.
Darien,
There was a lot of Darien
Westport,
kids,
whatever.
but
yeah, I was me and one other, but yeah. So I ended up playing with Jackson. Jackson was the tiniest kid
I
ever,
was so
bro.
small in middle school.
His head was way bigger than the rest of his
no,
body.
for real.
I didn't probably travel basketball, but I was probably a long time ago.
I wasn't good in middle school.
But Jackson was always cool. And so I said, guard, and I said, I'm playing 4. So yeah, everybody, and then
we were just talking about Ben Casparius. We had a really good team.
Yeah,
Ben Casparius was a baseball basketball player, but he was crazy athlete.
Yeah.
Now
For
he's
those-
a pitcher for the Dodgers.
Yeah,
now,
I was gonna
but-
say.
and then we had
Yeah.
we had the big footer down low, Preston,
Yeah,
Alex
Big Al.
Preston.
Yeah.
Bro,
Shout
they
out
were
Big
Al.
so tough when-
That's what I'm saying. We actually had
No,
a
that client.
squad. We had a squad, so that's funny enough that I played with him and then I played with you, and then later down the line, I'm working with Steve through Jordan.
Yeah.
He put me on, and I think the first time I met Steve was it was either COVID
It was
at
definitely COVID.
JCC or it was at the Greenwich the Greenwich
It
spot?
was definitely no. It was JCC, and then I started hiring you for the Greenwich spot. You know, because Jordan, you was
Jordan was
taxing.
too Hollywood. You
taxing, taxing,
shaky hoops, man.
shake hoops. Man. Anyway,
but yeah, like that's like, and like I got clips from back then, like Jacob's still wearing goggles and shit. Like, you know what I mean?
Jacob,
Like,
Jacob still has some baby fat.
Yeah,
you see what I'm saying?
Jacob, bouncy Jacob.
You see what I'm saying?
Missing
So
dunks,
like,
Jacob.
Missing dunks, Jacob.
Before all the tats. Before
Yeah,
he got
well,
like, goats,
right.
Shout out Jacob. He's down at Gardner Webb. You know, he said he's liking it, so
let's go.
you know, caught a nice little NIL bag too. Thank God.
Type shit. But yeah, that's like linking back up with him, and then we was at, I think, JCC, and then I saw Alex Preston. I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, yo, Steve, I used to play with this kid. Steve's like, what? I'm like, yeah. And then JR came around and Jonas came. I'm like, yo, these are all my boys from back when I was younger. I'm like,
it was random too.
Yeah, random. And then we linked back up, and we haven't fell out since. So.
Yeah, we got a nice little group chat. Not gonna share names,
Right. So. But yeah, you can talk about how y'all met.
Yeah,
so.
no, go. I mean, I remember we were just talking about it off camera, but Jonas, his older brother Jordan, played with my middle brother Brandon at Stanford Youth when it was still somewhat competitive, and got to see him kind of grow there. And he was in elementary school when I was a senior. Were you fifth or sixth grade?
Fifth grade, and you were a senior.
Senior.
You were my mentor.
Yeah.
Because there was like a black student group. And he was my
Yeah.
mentor.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah. I mean, that's what happens. And when you're in, private school and stuff like that, you create, clubs and stuff. Yeah. But it was dope because we got to that helped me grow as well. It wasn't just like obviously being relatable, but also just being a mentor, trying to set an example, being a leader. That was dope. I don't know if he remembers this, but I remember my 1,000-point game. I scored against Brunswick, and I gave him my shooting sleeve. Yeah. And that game from that game, yeah.
I used to be in front row with Caleb.
I did not know that story.
Yeah.
I forgot about that one too. I was front row with the games going crazy, celebrating. I was just a fan at that point. I was in fifth grade. I didn't know nothing. He was the blueprint that came to St. Luke, so.
Yeah,
I was at the games.
It's crazy. And
damn, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so
the little black one?
Yeah, the little black one. Yeah. We had that year.
Jealous.
Yeah, all that.
My senior year, we won the FAA chip, but we lost the knapsack to the same team, freaking Hampton Hall. But anyway, that's besides the point. That was my story with Jonas, and then JR. JR is actually a little bit funnier because full circle. I came back. I just stopped playing professionally. I stopped playing in Canada, and I was just like, I wanted to get in basketball. Obviously, I was training at the time, but then I was like, St. Luke's was home, right? So the head coaching job just opened up, and I was like, I'm gonna interview it. Like, I gotta be a finalist. Like, I'm gonna love like. And, I talked to the AD, and I was just like, the only thing I didn't have qualified was, like, college connections. Like, right? Like, that's something I have to build. But everything else I could take care of. And then that went well, and then they interviewed me, the two players. So Jonas wasn't there.
Yeah, I wasn't there that
but
one day.
JR and Andrew Veroli interviewed me, and that was our introduction. And he's been in my life ever since.
Damn. Yeah.
JR.
For the record, Steve would have been replacing, like, the GOAT of all high school coaches,
Drew
Gladstone. So like I was like very salty heading into like all the interviews. I was like still mad Drew wasn't gonna be coaching us, but Steve was like a breath of fresh air from like some of the other people that came in. Like he was like talking about player development, talking about like college connections. He said he didn't have, but he was like saying he was gonna work his ass off to like put us in the best position. So like right then I was like I think I told who was the AD at the time? Mr. West?
West to West.
I told like Mr. West, like, we want to have Steve around. Even if you don't hire him as like a head coach, like you got to bring him in. So then Steve ended up coaching me and Jonas our senior year. And that's like when all this kind of like started up again. Like,
yeah.
I know you guys knew each other before, but we started working out with Steve every single day. Now it's what, 8 years
now. Yeah, going, just grinding, just like in the growth. Like, you mean a lot of people? You guys are like the blueprint for like training, like in terms of like how I've developed people and helped develop. You guys have also obviously you put in a lot of work, but being able to, I watched some films the other day, like just watching like what I was doing. I was like, yo, that's cringe. Like, why?
Yeah.
What the?
We were
what
the
hell-
test
what the,
dummies.
what the hell
We
was
was
I
doing
doing?
anything, and it didn't
I was
matter,
Like,
though.
but then I was also like, I was a lot more active. Like, I was guarding guys. I was just like, I was running with the camera like this.
Yeah.
In their face.
Yeah.
Like I was just trying to build a brand with training. But then they were really the test dummies. But then obviously it kind of paid off because it fine-tuned things and they kind of grew into their own players. And now look where they are.
It's really crazy for me because like I like to play the game where I say Steve is like super super old. So like the fact that
Nah, he was hooping. But
but it's the fact that like we talking about 8 years ago and then like he was coaching and it was his senior, you know what I mean? Like that brings it too close. So like I can't really get my jokes off today because like usually I'll be like when he talking about high school I'll be like damn like 92 like
well, I went to see him play in college. I remember I went to see you play Iona.
Really?
Yeah, I went with my dad, and we saw you play Iona. I think Seb was playing.
Oh, that was my senior year.
Yeah, so I've been going to games for a while. I was watching you play since fifth
Holy
grade.
crap!
You know, ironically enough, me and Steve actually were on the same campus at like I think 1 year.
Oh shit!
But like we didn't know.
Yo,
know,
actually, I
we
didn't
didn't
even
know.
like. He might have said it, but I wasn't paying attention because I'd be zoning out sometimes. But
Yeah, but like I went to I went to
Crazy.
prep.
So Fairfield Prep and Fairfield
It's the same
it's on the same
campus.
campus.
Oh.
So obviously, I went from 2011 to
That's
2015.
literally
He was
right next
there
door.
for 2014.
2012 to 2016.
Also, 2 years, 3 years. We were
Damn,
on the same
Hollywood.
campus, and we
You
didn't
say
know.
what's
You know what I'm saying?
I didn't know. I didn't know how. Like,
You know what's funny? I don't think I ever like caught a game, but I definitely used to see them in there like shooting around and
Oh,
stuff
yeah,
like that. Like
yeah.
I would literally go like this is back when it was alumni. It's Mahoney now. Like if you've been there, it's beautiful. But like back then it was the old bleachers. Like sometimes I used to
wood
just
ones.
go sit at the top of the bleachers and just watch them shoot and shit. Like
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like or like see if maybe when they leave I could go down and go shoot. But like I just stay up there and watch. So I probably did see Steve in there shooting probably once or twice, but I ain't think nothing of it.
Yeah, we would usually summertime we usually work out in there, but like they for some reason was stupid. We barely played there, and then now obviously they redid the whole thing. Now they're playing all their home games there, which is great. But yeah, no, that's crazy. I didn't even think about that. We used to play like pickup during the summer. We used to play our spring workouts. We used to have runs in there. We used to. So you really and it's crazy part. I would remember Fairfield Prep and. What was the coach's name?
Leo Reggae.
Yeah, he be in there watching us sometimes, and you guys would work out before, and then we would play after. So we might have really crossed paths. Now that we're thinking about it, talking out loud,
Most
it's kind of
definitely.
crazy. But all right, so let's fast forward. College decision, right? Like again, we're just trying to educate the audience. Like you guys went 2 different paths. Right? Honestly, like JR is probably my biggest success. Like he went from like a straight line drive, catch and shoot 3 guy to now like he'll break anybody off the dribble. Like it's actually crazy. Bump. There was times where like I'm teaching how to use his body. He'd freaking elbow me in my face and my mouth, like just learning and just bump, some curve,
bumps
some
and bruises.
He was a
some-
test dummy.
Yeah, I was the test dummy too. Like it was good though. But and now like. Fucking when I train him, he just does shit and it gets me mad because I'm like I can't guard it, and just trying to provide a different variable to like help him train and stuff. But it's dope to see. But like again, sorry, side tangent. Well, let's go based on.
Thanks, Steve.
Wait.
That means a lot, man. That was,
Thanks,
yeah,
man.
made me feel
So
good.
where did we end up going? Obviously, we know your story, but for the audience, like, where'd you end up going? What goes into that decision? Where did you end up going? What goes into that decision? Let's start with who.
You can go ahead, Joe.
And like not like say your accolades, but like let them know like what type of player you were coming out of high school too, so they know. Because like I think it's easy to be like, oh yeah, I was good in high school, whatever. But like I think you need to really like tell them the level.
Yeah, I would say like high school. I mean, we were playing around some good dudes like Walt, Joel, Jackson. So I was like more of like, I don't even know how to describe it. I was gonna just adjust my game based on who I was around. I didn't really pick up the defense part though until college, but like shooting wise, like I remember I was constantly changing my shot, jumping high, jumping low. High school, I feel like towards the end, I kind of developed more of a scorer, trying to be more of a complete player. And then I remember Steve was there my senior year. The college system was tough. Like it was like late probably like 3 weeks before graduation. I didn't know
Yo.
where I was going.
Yo, this is before
It's crazy.
NIL stuff too, or like the transfer portal is crazy. Like I didn't understand it.
Like, and I remember there was a workout. I had like 3 college coaches come, and I'm playing well, but I'm wondering like why isn't anybody offering? And I was like a late bloomer, so I remember tearing up to Steve one day talking about like, well, I don't know what to do. Like, should I go prep school? Like, should I just go to college for school? And then I remember I kind of like reclassified in 2019 class, and then I got an offer from BU. So it was like a 2-year deal at the time. So I went into college at BU, joining Walt, who was there a year ahead of me. But Walt was hurt. I played with him at St. Luke's. And I wasn't playing for like the first half of the season.
Yeah.
And then I was just always working out with one of the assistant coaches. He changed my jump shot a little bit, made it a lot smoother. And then I really picked up on the defensive side. And that's just when everything just started clicking. And then I made all-rookie team. I became a 6-man off the bench. And then sophomore year, I started blossoming. And then I made all-defensive team my sophomore year. We won a championship, but COVID kind of ruined that, so we didn't get to go to the tournament.
That team was
That team was nice. I ain't gonna lie.
That was honestly probably one of the best teams in BU's history.
Yeah, that team was nice. And then junior year, kept doing well. I got defensive team again. Senior year, I got robbed defensive team. That's okay though. And then I did my 5th year. And then that's pretty much it. The college process was definitely not easy. And it was a mental grind more than a physical one, I feel like, because, you're ahead of people. But
I don't want to jump in. Also, who'd you just so this is the audience so they know, who'd you play AAU for?
I played with PSA Cardinals. And I joined them. I played with Stanford Peace growing up until freshman year. And then sophomore year, I was at PSA Cardinals in the Nike OBL circuit. And that was my first test of, like, the real competition. I'm going to Peach Jam, and I'm like, yo, first game we playing Kobe White, CP3, and the whole UNC staff's there. And I'm like, damn. Like, I got to guard this dude full court. I was like, this dude was nice. But, yeah, that's who I played with. And I had a lot of good teammates. But that just taught me, like, you have to adjust your game based on who's there. You can't just always be ball dominant and try to be the scorer, try to get 20 points a game, because that might not work for every situation. So that's kind of what it taught me. But, yeah, AU, it was a long process. It was definitely mentally draining, but it was worth it. I wouldn't take it any other way, to be honest.
And the reason why I wanted to bring that up is just, again, audience point, but, like, even playing at that level, this was almost 8 years ago, 7 years ago now?
It was like 2018.
2018. So, yeah, so, somebody who was putting in work and grinding still had it's not easy playing at the next level, period. So, JR, your story is also very important because I think that people need to know how much work you put in, the grind you took, the bumps in the road that you had, and you still came up top and still ended up not where you want to be, but you're on the path to where you want to go.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think it kind of starts in beginning of high school, because I went to Darien High School. Had a few good players with me. Like my best friend to this day, Alex Preston, was with me at Darien High. We really struggled and had a new coach come in my sophomore year. I mean, for Darien standards, we were solid, but that's still 8 and 15. It's not good. And aside from the wins and the losses, I didn't feel like I was developing as a player. And my goal was to play in college. So I wanted to be around other people that were in the gym all day trying to be great and trying to be pushing themselves and pushing the people around them. So after my junior year, I sat down with my dad. My little sister Ping was going to St. Luke's, and I had heard about this dude Drew Gladstone, who had completely transformed the St. Luke's program. Jonas was on the team at the time. They went 24-1 that year with 8 guys on the team. They were playing a rotation of 6, 7. But I had just heard about them.
6, 7.
Sorry.
Stop.
Go ahead.
Oh, it's crazy. 6, 7 studios too. Let me stop.
We gotta clip that one.
Not to cut you off though.
Yeah.
Tell them how tall you were throughout this process.
Yeah,
I think
that's
that's
a good point.
important too, because
crazy.
Because we said earlier, Jared was always tiny. So talk about that too as you're.
So when I first got to Darien High School, I was this is like stuck in my head. I went to the doctor's office for my physical. I was 5'8", 113 pounds.
What year was this?
My freshman year of high
Damn.
school.
It's nuts, bro.
Like I was, and if like you saw me like in high school and you saw me now, like you would not think it's the same person. Like
Even like sophomore year, you was, or was that your junior year you came?
junior year, I came to St. Luke's. Yeah, you would not think I was the
You
same.
was still skinny.
And I remember like if I didn't like stay at Darien for the length I did, I wouldn't have met my strength coach, who then like completely transformed like my game and my body. But yeah, just like talk about what Ralph just said. I was so small at Darien. And it wasn't like for lack of like working out. I just didn't know how, like I didn't know what to eat. I didn't know how to work out. So then I got in touch with like the Darien football strength coach, who now is still my trainer to this day. I'm going to see him right after this. But yeah, so after I transferred, well, let's talk about how I transferred. Like I said, my sister was going to St. Luke's. I went to a St. Luke's practice. Jonas wasn't there, but like Walt, Veroli, all those guys were there. I was like, I want to be around this. Like, I don't care what it takes. And Drew was like, listen, we've got like a solid like 5 or 6 guys right now. Like, you're not going to be promised any playing time, but you will be like getting better in the gym with them every day. And I was like, sign me up. Like, I don't care. Like, just get me in the gym with these guys. Get me on the court with them. So I transferred to St. Luke's. Turned into a basketball player for real. Like Drew was like ran it like a college program, so I knew day one like I was gonna be in the gym with Joel, Veroli every day playing ones. Yeah, those were good times. But had a really successful time at St. Luke's with Jonas and with Steve. My college process was like a little bit unique. I committed very early in my senior year to Worcester Polytechnic Institute, which I thought was like a perfect fit on paper. I think this is like a lesson to like really get to know the people that you're going to play for. So I committed my senior year, didn't even consider any other schools really. Like WPI, for the record, is like probably one of the most dominant Division III schools.
Yeah, top 25 every year usually.
The coach there at the time had 19 20 win seasons in a row, so like that is like unheard of for Division III basketball. So that like was like appealing to me. And then I went on the visit, and everybody, I think like Jonas, Steve like can attest to this, like when you go on a visit, it's like a lot about like the dudes on the team, like how like you'll gel with them. Like I went and visited WPI, and everybody was super cool. They were like fun to hoop with, but also like we were having like a good time off the court. So it was like a no-brainer for me. I ended up tearing my patellar tendon my freshman year, and all shit hit the fan. Like I say, like you can't prepare yourself for some of the stuff that is going to happen to you in college. So I ended up like butting heads with the coach. I could probably get into that like another pod, but he transferred to Haverford College. The best decision I've ever made in my life. I was able to like play right away. Transferred to Haverford. Started on a team that had the second best record in school history, and then from there, like we had like a tough couple seasons with like injuries and everything, but it introduced me to people that like changed my game. Like Jason Fang is another person like Steve.
Shout out to Jason.
He's a great
Shout out to Jason.
I love him as a person, but like I can't stress enough, like this dude is gonna be an NBA trainer one day, like without a shadow of a doubt in my mind. And I like was blessed to have young Jason, and I was his guinea pig. And I just got like a lot better. I think like Steve pointed out earlier, I was straight line 3-point shooter in high school, and now like even after I tore my ACL, like I still feel like nobody can guard me. Like I'm like off the dribble, off the ball, like I feel like very confident in my game. But yeah, so I ended up at Haverford, graduated, and yeah, we can get into the pro stuff later. But
Well, you got anything you
No, yeah,
heard from
I
these
think-
stories that you
I
want to
think-
pry into?
The most important is that like it's not a straight path,
Not at all.
and
Yeah.
like even like you could be highest of the highs or middle of the pack or all the way at the bottom, but like the one thing that's consistent is just the work. Like at both of them worked super super hard. Like even me, like I didn't have anything that they had, but like I still worked the same way, and like I could be like, oh man, I'm working just as hard as I probably wasn't, or maybe I was working more than Jonas. But like sometimes it just don't fall in your favor, and that's just
Little
that's
luck.
just that's just
Definitely.
what it is. Like I played with JR, I played with Jonas. They both
You-
went on to
Ra-
play college.
Ralph was like way better than me too. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Like,
Listen,
he,
and like they gonna gas it up. And, like, they gonna be nice to me, you know what I mean? Because I'm sitting here. But
No,
like,
he was
realistically, like for me, it was just like I felt like athletically, I was already ahead, and I think that's
For
just
sure.
God given talent.
Mhm.
But the technical side and like the IQ of the game is something that I really tried to work at, and I think playing big when I was younger was actually like so fundamental in my game, like growing up, because like the footwork for me was so much easier
Yeah.
as a guard than as a big man, like I have to worry about drop stepping the right way or setting the screen the right way. But then as a guard, like once because I would play big with them, but then when I went like home and like travel with a guard, I was a guard.
Yeah.
So it was like I know which way I want my big to set the screen. Like I know which way I want him to roll. Like I know if I'm on this side and I see the big man sealed off, I could put the pass here because I'm the big man when I go over there. So I think working hard like and finding these relationships along the way is honestly the most important. Like basketball isn't forever, and the relationships that you can formulate and you can build while you're playing is the best part of it. And if you become pretty good at it, that's fun as fuck too. Like
yeah,
that
That's
is
well
part
said,
of the
Ryan.
fun.
Yeah.
That is part of the fun. But I wanted y'all on the pod together because I wanted to talk about overseas. I think people like obviously if you play basketball, you're a little kid, like you dream and aspire of being in the NBA. Like, you know, that's probably most of all of our dreams. But then people are like, oh, if I can't make it to the NBA, I'll just go overseas. And like it sounds crazy to you guys, but in their heads, that's like, oh yeah, I'll just go overseas. I'll just go overseas.
Easy.
But like overseas, I want y'all to really talk about overseas and like some of the misconceptions and the things that they don't see, because I know from talking to you guys and like even me and Steve went to Spain and like we saw like what it is like overseas, and that like even in the younger kids, like one kid we used to call him Luca.
Oh,
We used to call him Luca, but his
Marco.
dad was telling him like, nah, he too soft to play on the national team. Like he not ready for that yet. And I'm just like, oh shit, like he like 14. And they talking about that at that
Honestly,
age,
yeah,
ready to
mind,
go.
Mind you, his dad was like a 20-year pro. He said
Played with Facu Campazzo.
Campazzo. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
Yeah, yeah, he
Yes.
said that's his boy. Yeah, the guy
Like,
who
long time boy.
good,
That's
good dude.
crazy.
Yeah, he said
So like
that's
this is your dad with a guy who
in the
went
league,
to the NBA, and he's saying
like,
I'm not
respect.
ready.
Yeah,
It's respect.
but he was saying exactly what we're telling you. It's just like he's not ready, even though he's super skilled. He plays like Luka, smooth, can shoot it, but he's just like he's not tough enough. Like he's like I played pro since I was 18, and he was like 39. Like he said, I just retired. Like he stopped at 38. Yeah,
And
like,
he's still he fit, bro.
Yo,
like
yeah.
it look like he run.
Your
It
body
look
can
like
last
he
that
run up and
long,
down
that's a
right now,
blessing.
bro. It look like he could run up and down right now
Yeah.
and give you 25.
shout out to them, like 23.
Yeah, shout out to
Hopefully,
like 23.
we gonna tag you. Try to get.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know,
get back
you
over
know
it.
what I mean?
Yeah, get back over it. You know what I mean?
No, but let's start with this. Let's start with the process after college, right? Real quick. Either finding an agent or just advocating on your own, because again, for me, like when I went through my I didn't have anybody to help me, so I went to a bunch of camps trying to find agents, but I ended up doing everything on my own. So what was the process for you guys, so that again the audience can understand what that part is?
Well, I mean, after the season ended in college, I was just in shock for like a good week. Like I was like, damn, I'm really done with college right now. And I remember I was talking to Walt, because he went to BU with me. I was talking to him. I was like, yo, what do we do now? Like, do I like keep playing? Do I stop?
Yeah.
So there's a little waiting period in between. But I feel like I always had a little like irrational confidence in myself. Like, I still kind of have goals. I still have goals of going to the league and G League and all that stuff. But I remember I told my coach, we had a meeting probably like after the season. He was like, "What do you want to do?" And I was like, I want to play professional. So he's like, "All right, let's go." So then he's had some agents that hit me up from his contacts. And I had some that DM me on Instagram, so I was contacting them. And it was kind of like picking a college. Like, you kind of interview people, see what you like, see what you don't like. And that was hard because, I mean, like I said, going from high school to college, I never really had that crazy recruiting, So I was like kind of learning it all on the fly. And I signed with an agency that was more in the States. But my personal goal was I felt like I thought I had a good college career, but I felt like it wasn't enough of a resume to get to the NBA or the G League right away. So it's like, I want to go overseas, make a name for myself, and then come back over here and see how I do then. Not knowing it's probably smarter to get an overseas agent your first year because, they have connects there. I signed with a U.S. agent, and I was waiting for a good amount of period. I say it got to like January, and I didn't have a team after the season. And I was just bored, and I was like, man, I'm just working out. And then I started making an Instagram page. So I made a page, like I was creating basketball clips. So I'm like, okay, if this doesn't work out, I'm at least have something like on my resume to say I did something. So I was like made like a basketball scoring page. And that's where ISO scoring came into hand, and I started doing that. And then I got an offer from Australia. I changed agents. I got an offer from Australia. Went to the NBL 1 East. Did really well there. I won Defensive Player of the Year. And my team I had like 3 wins, and then we went to like 3rd place. So we did a really good improvement, and then I came back home for 2 weeks, and then I went straight to Germany. I signed with a league in Germany, and I just got back about 2 or 3 weeks ago. But that was a tough process because it was like a quick switch. Everything was happening so fast. I ended college, signed with an agency, left the agency, joined another one. Went to Australia. I'm in across the world. Like, that was a huge adjustment. And then I'm coming home for 2 weeks. I barely see family, and then I'm going straight to Germany. So it was just a crazy, crazy adjustment period. It all happened really fast, but I wouldn't take any other way. I know I wasn't necessarily going to get the highest looks, based off college. I was playing more the 2 guard, and I had to transfer over to the 1, so I'm playing more of that combo. But I kind of had to like adjust my game, like I said beforehand, and that's kind of how I got to this point. But I ended up doing really well in Germany, and we'll see where we go next. But I think that was a good, crazy part, but I think it helped.
All right, JR, go ahead.
I think everybody's process after college is different. Whether like it was one of Jonas's teammates at BU, like Walt, his process was different. For me, a Division III player who like didn't have like the best resume at a Division III level, it's tough to find an agent. So I remember, like, disclaimer, like, I would not be playing professionally if it wasn't for either of these two and Ralph, to be honest, because Ralph's always like hyping me up.
You know me, yep.
In the gym with me, Phoenix days. No, we were getting right, but Steve as like a player development coach is one thing, but his like mentorship as I was going through the process to play overseas was something that like kept me going, because like this is, I'll like actually get emotional talking about this, but like there was like so many people who told me no. Like Steve was on like calls with me, and Steve was like, you just have to find like one opportunity. Like you like just keep going. Like I know you're good enough to play at this level, despite like what everybody might be saying. So having people in your corner like that are huge. But like I was saying, it was really hard for me to find an agent. So I just started hustling, like calling anybody I knew who had ever played overseas, sending thousands of emails to teams with my film. Like I spent a bunch of time with Jason, like breaking down my film, like trying to see what would be most appealing to overseas teams. So that was like the first few months. Wasn't getting any bites. Decided to take a job at Vanguard. I don't even think any of y'all know this.
I don't know. Wait, what?
I think you told me.
Vanguard.
I think
Yeah.
you accepted it, but you didn't stay long, right?
What's Vanguard?
Didn't even
It's
so
a financial
institution.
My fault.
Yeah,
my fault.
so
I've been out of the
basically-
business world for a little bit.
Basically, I was like, all right, I'm gonna give myself like a couple months, but I just graduated. Was like, all right, I probably should have like a backup plan in case it doesn't work out. And like looking back, it wasn't even a backup plan because I was gonna be playing regardless. But took a job at Vanguard. Was set to start in August. So before August, I'm like, oh, yo, I don't want to work this job. Please let me find
extra motivation.
Please let me.
Yeah.
I
You
think
have
that's
no
what it
other
was.
choice.
I think that's really what it was.
Extra
You
motivation.
have no other choice. But
I was like-
I'm going overseas.
I'm not working that.
I'm like doing everything I can to find any kind of. I'm like, I'll go play for free. Like, just give me like some type of team and opportunity. So there was two things that ended up popping up. One was like to continue to play college. And at that point, I felt like I had already played 5 years of college. And I didn't want to do any more school. So that was an opportunity in England. But it wasn't pro. Like, there was no pro team associated with it. It was just more college. So I was like, all right, if I can do that and get more film, like maybe that'll like jumpstart my career. So that was an option. I sent an email to a team in Ireland in like May, and they got back to me first week of August before I was supposed to start my job at Vanguard. And they're like, sorry for the delay. You're probably like, delay your reply. Like, delay your probably a week. Like, this is
That's
like
a long
4
time. I would've
months
been-
later.
Yeah, that's a long time.
And I just like, I didn't even like, looking back, it was foolish of me, but I was like, you're telling me I can go like they're going to pay me to play basketball, and like I will be like in a league that can potentially jump me to the top league and whatever it may be. And I knew the other American that was going to be going. He played at Merrimack, Dries Joyner. Shout out Dries. But he basically was like playing at Merrimack and then was going to be playing for this team. So I was like, all right, if he played at Merrimack, like this is probably like a legitimate team. Flew out there and like it's tough for me to like go on podcasts because like I feel like there's a bunch of shit that happened in college and then when I got overseas. So I had 2 septic infections in my elbow my first year overseas.
Oh, yeah.
And then so I like had a really good season. But I only got to play 12 games. Real quick, small note, a lot of overseas teams, and like overseas basketball will humble you so quick. A lot of overseas teams don't have simple things like athletic trainers. I cut my elbow, did not get treated, and turned into sepsis. Like small stuff like that, like you don't think about when you're in college, but like you're like risking like, it's gonna sound dramatic. Like you're risking your life sometimes when you're going over and you're playing. No, seriously.
It's not crazy to say that.
It should sound
It's really
dramatic.
not crazy
Yeah.
to say that.
Like,
It should sound-
honestly,
we
like,
saw your cut. We
Yeah.
saw your
Yeah.
elbow.
Yeah.
It should sound dramatic.
like
Yeah.
like again, it's
you
just
got
more
any pictures?
Yeah,
Bro,
I have
imagine-
crazy pictures.
Imagine going to the hospital in a bro.
Yeah, foreign
in a
country.
foreign
That's what I had to
country.
do.
That's yes.
When I hurt my foot at the end of the season in Germany, and I'm like, man, I'm playing through it. I'm like, I can play, but something doesn't feel right. And I kept telling them I want to go to the hospital or like get an MRI. And they don't speak great English. I'm going and getting an MRI. I'm trying to talk to them, understand what I have. We can't communicate together. So it's like I'm believing what they're telling me. I'm like, they could be lying to me all I know.
At least
I
in
really
Ireland,
don't
they
know.
spoke English. So like,
That's what like, I really don't know what they're saying. And they like, I'm asking the doctor after I get the MRI, I'm like, what do I have? And she's just trying to explain it to me. And I'm like, I just don't understand what you're saying. So I don't know what really I have, but
yeah,
yeah,
and
it's crazy.
That's
It's
what
definitely a scary thing that you didn't even really consider.
Yeah, no, that's something. Again, I talk about it all the time. Just playing in a different country, you gotta just know your resources, who you can turn to for certain things, right? Like that's something you gotta prepare for. That something we don't probably talk about. Like maybe having a teammate or translator like available, or asking if, hey, like, can you come with me? Like this. There's like those little things that you don't really think about when you think overseas. You're just thinking, all right, I'm gonna go play ball, but there's so many the housing situation, right?
Nah.
So let's
Turn
No,
on.
yeah,
Man.
no,
Hold on,
yeah,
hold on,
please,
go ahead.
please, please.
So
Talk
let's-
about that.
let's
Talk
talk
about
about-
that.
yeah,
Talk
about
about the
like
housing,
housing.
and then I got a question and some tidbits after that. Go ahead.
Do you want me to go?
You can go. Yeah.
Man, yeah. So, well, in Australia, in the NBL 1 East, at first my girlfriend wanted to come with me. Obviously, they have housing for me, but not for her. So we had to find. We were on an Australian site looking at flats for both of us to be in. We signed with a flat. We get there the first week. There's mold in the flat. It gets on our clothes. We have to move out. Luckily, I didn't even tell you the story. I'm training a kid at the park, and his mom goes to BU. She went to BU. She was a track runner.
Oh, that's crazy.
Crazy in Australia, crazy. And we live with them for the rest of the year. In their house, we have like a room in their house, but like that was in Australia. And then in Germany, I had my girlfriend came again, and I had a shared like apartment room with one other teammate. He was never there though, because he was living with his girlfriend too. So I basically had a whole apartment. But yeah, there was mold on the ceiling, so we got that cleaned up. But yeah, it's definitely different. It's not what you expect.
So they ain't fly you out on a PJ and put you up in the Ritz-Carlton. They ain't do that.
Nah, I mean, hopefully one day I can get that. But
Yeah.
where I was now, I already knew like going into this, I have to start at the bottom and work my way up, based on. I feel like I had a good college resume, but like based on like where I played, height, stuff like that. And guards are a hot commodity, like in overseas. Like they don't tell you that either. It's really hard for guards
competitive.
to go overseas. Bigs, it's a lot easier. There's less people in the pool. So when I got there, I already knew what to expect. I wasn't gonna get paid a crazy amount. I wasn't gonna get like the best resources, but I was like, if I just get myself in there, and then I'm gonna be able to prove myself, and then I'm gonna be able to expand on that. So that was kind of the mindset.
Situation.
Yeah, so I got to Ireland and was in a like 4-person apartment. The team like had a partnership with the university, so we were staying on like a college campus. I was also getting like part of the deal was like I got to get my master's, which was fantastic. Got it done in 1 year, so grateful for that. We were on the college campus in a 4-person apartment with 2 random students. So like it really felt like I was back in college in some ways, but the team paid for like the first few months of our electricity. And I didn't realize that they wouldn't be continuing to pay for our electricity. So I remember like after practice one day, like our power went out. And I like walked to Drees' room and he's like, yo, do you think like the circuit went out or something? And they're like, he's like, yeah, I don't know. Like, let's call Mick. And he's like, Mick's the director of a club. He's like, yeah, like usually how it works is you guys like, we pay for the first few months, but then you guys have to pay with like the other students in the thing. And we're like,
No, that's crazy. What?
wait. So we're like, okay, fine, whatever. Pay like a couple like euros a week each, which would have been fine. But the other 2 people in the apartment refused to pay the electricity. Like this is not shit when you're like going through your checklist of basketball.
We would have been scrapping. I'm like, you paying this electricity, man. That's,
Like I didn't even like write that on my like my things to like look for.
They didn't want to pay.
That's
It did-
wild.
not only did they
They're
not
just regular students.
just regular students. Not only did they not want to pay, this dude kept calling me Jason. That shit pissed me off so much. Like I think he knew my name was Jackson, but I would text him and be like, yo, like, Miguel, can you pay the electricity?
You said
He'd be like,
Jason.
my bad, Jason. Like, I'll get to it like next week or
Nah,
whatever.
he wanted to fight.
Nah,
Yeah.
he wanted to fight you.
He
That's what
wanted
it
to
was.
fight, bro.
He
He
was
wanted
testing.
Anyways,
he wanted
so-
any reason.
These 2 are like did not pay electricity for 4 months. Something crazy. And I was like, I remember I called these guys like on my phone. I was like, hold up, like I can't plug my phone in because our power's out, so I gotta go outside. I gotta go down the street to like stay on FaceTime. But like really, I wasn't even like. I think overseas basketball like really, like I said, it humbles you and it tests like what you're doing it for. Like, are you doing it to like play basketball, or are you doing it to like live a comfortable life? Sometimes you're not gonna live a comfortable life playing overseas basketball. So like, I was just so happy to be hooping, and like same with Drees. Like we didn't really like make a big deal about it. I think a lot of people when they're put in situations like that are like, I'm getting out of here, like whatever. But you might not have all the resources you want or you had in college, but I'm just I still think I'm so blessed to be able to continue to play.
Yeah.
So part of the questions that I had and why I wanted to talk so much about overseas is because I think people don't understand certain responsibilities and rules that you guys have playing in your respective areas. So like the American rule,
Yeah.
Or-
I'm the only one.
or the training and the coaching.
Yeah.
So I want y'all to talk about that because I think people think y'all really just went over there and just played ball.
No,
Like I know,
no,
we talked about the housing thing, but like I think they think like, oh yeah, I'm going overseas, I'm just gonna play basketball. So like talk a little bit about that because I think that's a big misconception on overseas basketball.
Yeah, just the coaching style, what you have to know, how many Americans, different countries have different rules.
Also, like the training, I'm saying, like the coaching.
Yeah,
like
the coaching
You
style.
have to coach. Yeah.
So like,
yeah.
please
Go ahead.
talk about that.
Yeah, you know.
I'll start. I would say I don't know like what the exact number is, but I know in Ireland specifically, you are not only a paid professional basketball player, you are a paid coach. Like, so you are making a lot of your money from training U12, U14, U16, U18 teams. So that's like a huge part of it. And if you're not ready to do that, you're probably not going to be making enough money to survive. So like, you need to do stuff like that to make extra change. The other thing is, like you just said, there's an American restriction in a lot of leagues, or import restriction, I should say. So that makes the field like that much more competitive. So teams are not going to be like, oh yeah, like if you don't want to coach, like it's cool. Like, no, I'm just going to go find another dude who's just as good as you who will go do the coaching.
Anyone did that to me in Germany.
So that's like a huge part of like your daily or your weekly routine. Like you're coaching almost just as much as you're playing, or at least I was. I don't know about you.
In Australia, that was the case. Like that was where I was. It was like you get paid for basketball, but it was like you could make a lot of money doing just coaching. So I remember waking up like 7 o'clock coaching some kids at a school in Australia, and then I'm going to the next school, and then I'm working out myself, going back to the gym, and then I'm coaching a late game at night. So you could be coaching like upwards to 15 hours when I was in Australia, but I was also playing a lot and working out and practicing and stuff like that. So it was on top of that. And then Germany, I remember before I signed with the team, there was like a basketball contract and a coaching contract. I had to like coach one like 5th grade team. And on the contract, it was like it's an option. So I was like, all right, like I'm not coaching these kids. I don't need to coach them. And I told my agent that, so I sent back the basketball contract. And my agent's like, they were going like at it on the phone. And they're like, nah, you got to sign this contract or you're not going to be able to come. I'm like, what? I'm like, is that serious? I got to coach these kids? It was crazy. He was like, you got like a couple days to respond or we're going to find somebody else. I'm like, damn. I was like, I can't miss this opportunity. So I was like, I'll do it. But yeah, when I went to Germany, I was coaching one team. I had, Tuesday practice for like an hour and a half, a Friday practice for an hour and a half, and then there would be a game maybe on Saturdays. And I had a game on Saturday too. So it would be like a 12 o'clock game coaching, and then I had to get my nap in, do whatever pregame stuff, and then I had a 7 p.m. game the same day. So I feel like Steve and like Ev training kids. I had to like think of stuff on the fly. I'm kind of like practicing for my kids when I get them, like, you know what I'm saying? I was just working on random stuff.
JoJo.
Baby Joe's gonna be a bucket.
And so did either of y'all have like the on court rules as far as like the born players like
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so like talk about that too.
In Australia, it was based on just like how much money you have. So I had another American on the team, my boy Matt Measy. Shout out Measy. And then in Germany, it was just one. Like you get one import. So I was the only American on my team. And when you come in, they expect you to right away. Like my coach wanted me to score. So like I remember on the phone, he was like, "We need you to average like 15 to 20 points. Like this is what we need from you." So I'm the only American. They expect a lot from me. And people try to communicate with you. It's kind of hard. My coach was from the States. He played at UCF. So that was a really good, like we could talk. I could relate to him. And he spoke English, but everybody else was like broken English. So I was learning things on the fly. I'm playing other teams. If you have a dual citizenship on other teams, you can have more than one import. So every other team had multiple imports, but it was just me on my team. So at times you feel a lot of isolation. You feel like you're by yourself, no one really to relate to, which can be mentally draining. So that's why I agree with Jackson. Like, it can humble you, but I think it's more mental than anything.
Yeah, for sure.
It definitely tests you mentally. Like, there was a lot of nights I'm like, damn, do I really need to be doing this right now? But then I realized like my end goal. But yeah, I was the only import, and it was definitely challenging.
The the lower levels of Europe typically have some type of import restriction, and that leads to like a lot of like expectation about you bringing an import. You're expecting them to get 20, 30 a game. Like, that's what they're there to do. And the other restrictions are in Ireland, at least, where like you have to have 2 Irish players on the court at all times. Now it's 3. But basically, teams in Europe can like beat the system depending on how much money they have, right? So like they can get like extra like paid players as long as they have dual citizenship, stuff like that. But what I was gonna say was like, as you like get up in levels, like it was kind of cool for me to watch our friend Walter and his environment, because I felt like me and Jonas both were at lower levels in Europe this past year. And we kind of just like saw that the basketball is not always the best, in my opinion, at least. Like, a lot of it's like isolation. A lot of it's like, okay, you're trying to score, which is great. Like, that got me a lot better as like a like playmaker and having the ball in my hands. But when you make it to like countries like France, where Walter's at right now, like there's like 10 players who are all really good and like are all getting paid to play. Whereas at other like lower levels, like only 2 people on the team are getting paid to play. One person on the team's getting paid. So it's just like that's another important thing. Like, there's levels to European basketball. Obviously, like, me and him both want to like play at like the level Walt's at right now.
I'm going
But
past Walter.
yeah,
Forget Walt. I'm going past Walt. We have a little beef going on. Nah, I love that guy.
Yeah, no, it's again. Walt played with my former teammate Amadou, who I think he's leaving that team. Actually, they just announced that he's gonna leave. But,
he was killing until he got hurt recently. Yeah,
that's why they let him go.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Look at
Perfect.
that.
We didn't even talk.
Fair one. It is 10:08. You wanna? It's up to you.
You give like a couple more minutes.
Couple more minutes. All
Yeah.
right,
This man's leaving us for lifting.
You mean, hey, that's that
It's a
relationships we
routine, it's a
talking about.
routine.
You know what I mean, you gotta stay with the people that's been holding you
and
down.
To be fair, I said this to Ralph. This was my fault. Like, I forgot, and we kind of scheduled.
It's always Steve's fault. If y'all ever notice, it's Steve's fault. It's always gonna be
It's never
Steve's fault.
Ralph's
Yo,
fault.
if you get in trouble at home, you talking to your mom, your dad, you be like,
Yeah.
Mom, it's Steve's fault.
I think
Like,
I've said
just let
that a few
them know
times,
that
actually.
it's Steve's fault.
Like, why are you late? It's Steve. Like,
Yeah.
Steve's
Yeah.
like-
Just came late to the workout, man.
You mean,
Yeah, that's
even
fine.
if you beefing with your shorty, be like, yo, it's Steve.
Steve
happy.
told me to do
Yeah,
it.
Steve happy. You know what I mean, just always know that it's Steve's fault.
Yeah, know that.
Know that.
I see that.
Know
I
Know
see
that, yo. Every time what in training, one of the kids miss a offhand layup, I look at him, I'm like, know that. Know that.
As I know that training.
Yeah, right.
Yo, it just so happens when I'm training players that their weekend is just terrible, and
That's
and
why
then
they're there, to get better.
I mean, yeah,
We're learning.
essentially.
We're learning. We're
Yeah.
learning like people can't throw bounce passes. Like it's
Oh yeah.
Wait,
we-
what?
Yeah, we just did a workout the other day.
You're gonna be so pissed, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
This is
once
exactly
you
why I
really
don't
get
know.
into
I
it,
can't do it, man. I
Yo,
don't know.
I'm telling you,
You're
we
gonna be
just
mad,
did a
bro.
workout the other day. Like, it wasn't a regular pass, right? It was a one-on-one drill where it was like contested shooting. So we had to throw it out to the 3-point line.
But you're not justifying this, bro.
When I said,
You're not gonna justify this.
guys were just
I
doing
wish
this.
I wish we had filmed.
Throwing the lob.
I wish we had filmed because
Throwing it
it's
to like half court. And I'm like, yo, can you not control
over.
the power of your pass? Like, it's literally a little lob to the 3-point line, and then you go close
People
out.
hitting the
Stuff you think is
ceiling,
so
like, it
simple
was-
isn't
Yeah.
that simple to some people.
Yeah, I thought it was simple, and I apologize. I said I apologize. This is on me because I don't work on passing
He
enough.
said, no,
Yeah.
this is my fault.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
don't work on
always-
passing. Yeah.
It's always Steve's fault. That's what I'm trying to tell you. You know what I mean?
So, but it was again. There's always things. So even I've been doing it for a while. There's still things that I'm like, damn, I need to make sure I probably cover this a little bit better. But anyway, that was a side tangent. But we gotta. I don't want to waste these. It's 10:10. We'll give them 5 minutes and see where we go. So what do we need to really ask?
I think like we covered a lot of like kind of like the misconceptions and stuff like that, but like also like show.
Sorry, go ahead. Go.
Yeah, just show the different sides, like the good part about it, like you went all the way to Australia. You know what I mean? Some people have never even traveled outside of the country, like shit like that. Like
seeing the world.
I don't want to seem like
no, it's not. It's not all bad.
It's definitely not all bad.
It's great.
I
play basketball for a living.
Yeah.
Right.
I played in Australia. I played in Germany. I was fortunate to do really well in those spots. And my game, I feel like my game is growing. Like I feel like in college, I'm playing with a bunch of great other teammates. And not saying that my other teammates weren't great. It just forced you to do more and forced you to expand your game.
Yeah.
And then I feel like I get a chance to move up now. So it's like kind of reaching towards my goal slowly but surely.
But even not basketball, I'm just talking about life. Like
Yeah, just
the culture. I went to Belgium, to Amsterdam, to Paris for Christmas. Like there's everything's right there. It's benefits to it.
The stuff that you guys are. This is what I'm saying. This is like us going to Spain. Yeah. I went to Lithuania for a tryout. Like, just seeing the world is something people don't get to do.
Yeah.
Right. So like, just explain that. Like, how much has that kind of opened your eyes to being we're all basically from Connecticut. Right. We grew up here, but like. Talk about how it's expanded your mind a little bit about what's really out there.
Yeah. And I just want to say this real quick. I thought you was Irish. Like when you went,
I definitely did
when
too.
you went to Ireland, I'm like, oh yeah, he's Irish. That makes sense. But like,
I wish it make things a lot easier.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like, I just thought
I
that
always
made
ask
sense.
my
But
parents,
like,
man, you got nothing in you. You got
right,
nothing in
that's
you.
what I'm saying. So like, going over there, like, just talk about that.
So like before I went to play in Ireland, I think I had been outside the U.S. like 2 or 3 times. Like I got to visit Big Al, who we were talking about earlier, Alex Preston. He played in Portugal. Super cool trip.
Must have been beautiful.
Yeah, no,
I'm so bad.
We gotta have like Al on the podcast and talk about his experience, because you need like overseas, like not just us. Like we know some stuff, but like there's other people out there like tell you all kinds of stories. I went to Ireland, and it was like, well, one, like if you've ever been to Ireland, it's just green. Like it's like the greenest place on earth, and I was like, this is just beautiful. Like the pace of life is much slower. People, in my opinion, are like much more considerate of others. So like stuff like that, I really appreciated. But then it gave me the opportunity to like make new friends in Ireland, create new like lifelong relationships. Like I have Irish teammates that come over to the U.S. for Easter every year now. So like that kind of stuff. But then I also got to visit like the span of like a couple weeks. Went to Paris, went to Belgium, went to Holland. I'm trying to think the other places I went to, but I got to see all these different European countries, and never would have been able to do that if it weren't for the game of basketball. So
yeah, I mean, like, I feel like I had it on 2 extremes. Like in Australia, I was like, it's like a big beach resort. Like I was in the beaches in Sydney, where once again I met like my teammates, who I still talk to this day, and we're in group chats. So those are my guys out there in Australia. But yeah, there was beaches, nightclubs everywhere. It was like an amazing experience. And then in Germany, I'm at a whole different. I'm in a village. I'm in a small village. Like there's an Aldi's, there's one grocery store, there's the school where you play basketball at, and I would say there's a major city like I want to say like an hour away, Dusseldorf. But yeah, like there's horses, big tractors, lots of green fields. Like it was a whole different change. So that's why I'm like, man, like I've experienced living the sweet life and then living in a small village where I thought I would never go to in my life. But that's what I had to do in order to get to where I want to be. I knew, like, my coach was honest with me. He wasn't going to lie to me. Like, he played overseas basketball for, like, 9 years in Pro A Germany. And he was like, I'm not even going to lie to you. Like, you're in a small village. You have everything you need here, like grocery stores. Like, I'm not far away if you need me. But, like, it's going to be different from where you are now. So he told me, he was honest with me. A lot of people would have just lied and just to get me there. But I got to experience that. And I think it really tested, like, my mental, and, like, I knew that if I really wanted to do this and I really wanted to succeed, I would have to first get out of the house, try to meet people, walk around, just so I wouldn't be like stuck playing the video game all day.
Yeah.
And learn the culture. Like I was also able to take a train to Paris. I went for Paris for Christmas with my girlfriend. I went to Belgium for New Year's. I went to Amsterdam for my birthday. Like, and that's all. Yeah, it was crazy. It was all the span of like, you know, it's like 3-hour drives, or like, yeah, the train to Paris was like, well, I want to say like 5. So it was crazy. It's definitely a blessing to be here. I'm not gonna act like it's all bad, and there's definitely positives to playing overseas for sure. I get to play basketball for a living. Like that's
I mean,
amazing,
we're not
so.
saying, we just want to. It's not that anything's bad. It's more. I just want to rephrase.
There's more to the
this up.
story.
yeah. There's
Yeah,
more.
there's-
There's
there's
more that
just-
people don't know about.
Just
Because I think
exactly.
they only see that part.
Oh yeah, it's
And
not
that-
all.
and
It's not
that's
all
what-
glamorous.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to really talk about, because it's like a lot of kids think that like even first of all getting to college, right? But then they're like, oh yeah, after college I'm going to the NBA, and then after
I'll
the NBA,
settle for overseas. I
I'll
think that's
settle
what
for
most
You're
people
not.
say.
You're
You
not-
get
you're not-
overseas. That's a blessing.
Yeah.
Overseas is settling for you, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, they could have got this other American, like, but
Yeah.
they landed upon you. Like, that's even getting over there is really like a blessing, and then it's also like it's an accomplishment.
Yeah.
And it's not something to be at any level. It's not something to be like fucking it's whatever. Like, nah, like it's a big accomplishment. So
Yeah, and you could be in a different area every year, which is also the crazy part. Like, I signed with a 1-year contract, so I was in Australia, Germany, and now like there's a waiting period after the season. Probably recruiting starts again in like June, July, and then you find your next team.
Yeah, I mean,
So you're like trying to keep leveling up. I had a really good season, so like my goal, I'm probably gonna move up in leagues. I don't know if I'm gonna be in Germany again. I could be in a whole different country. All I know. So that's the fun part. I'm experiencing something new for the first time. I can learn another language on Duolingo. Like I tried to learn German, it was too hard, but.
yeah, I don't understand. Like, the brain is an interesting thing. They always say like when you teach kids younger, like a different language is
yeah, it's
I'm gonna teach my kid another language. For sure.
you almost have.
I need to
like,
learn another language actually before I can do that.
I tried to learn Japanese on Duolingo.
How was the Japanese?
Yeah,
Yo, you know
'cause
what's crazy?
anime.
I took Japanese in middle school.
See, it's
Did you?
tough.
Really?
I got kicked out of the program though, but like I took it though. I mean, hey, 6th and 7th grade, I took that shit. Yo, and you know what's funny? 8th grade, they went to Japan.
See, that's
So you
tough.
missed out on
That's
like
what
the
I
best
bro.
part.
I got kicked out of the program before I could go to Japan.
That's tough.
That's ass.
Yo, shout out the teacher that kicked me out that program. I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? You really helped me out.
You needed
that's
that.
what's up.
That was
I needed
character
that.
development. You needed that.
I needed that.
That was tough love. That's what it was.
For sure. See, but 7th grade, I'm gonna just throw that. 7th grade is when they had that earthquake. So we had a specific teacher. So she had to go back home. So we got another teacher she was fluent in Japanese, but she was Hawaiian. So like, no, for real though. Like if you ever look at Japanese and Chinese and the Asian cultures, it's drawing, right? They're not like standard letters. Like you could have bad handwriting, but I know it's an A.
Okay.
Yeah.
In Japanese, we're drawing characters, so
yeah,
I would
that's
always be
crazy.
confused.
I never
would
thought
always-
about that.
No, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Like your penmanship is important.
Yeah.
So she would draw it a little differently, so I would always be confused. Like we're talking about like.
No wonder you got kicked
Sen-
out, bro. You're probably like, what is
Yes,
that?
yes.
That's how it
Literally,
felt,
I'm in
bro.
See, but like, do you talk about the overseas experience where your teammates barely speak English? They
Bro,
give them
imagine
broken
grocery
English?
shopping.
I'm literally sitting there like, I'm like, yo, shorty, I don't know what that is, bro. Like, what is that? So she thought I was being disrespectful, and that it was really just a language barrier. Like how she learned it and how I was learning it for the past 2 years was not the same. And she was just
this
like,
is important.
nah, that ain't it.
This is important. This is just important. It's just teachers and coaches, whoever they are very important. You got to be able to.
It's so important.
You got to be able to adjust. And again, like I don't know if you guys know guy Paul Harris. He's up in Connecticut. He played at Syracuse. He's older, but he's got a
1992. Let me stop.
he's got a son that's pretty good in middle school right now, and he put him on expressions, but he's blowing up on.
I trained with him. He's at St. Luke's.
No, he's not at St. Luke's.
I'm chatting. Let me stop.
No, this kid, he's no, they're up north. He's but anyway, he was just telling his story. Like I literally showed up on my For You page. He was talking about his story where he was in Turkey, and he was talking about how he was killing it, and then for some reason the coach put him on in the second squad during practice. Then they moved him to the third squad in practice.
Bro, they could do stuff.
And then he had to leave. They said, oh well, we're gonna move on. Like he killed. Like they beat Fenerbahce and Edolph's, and he had 25 and like 10, like both games.
Bro,
Just because they feel like it.
Yeah.
they can do whatever they want.
Or like that one time we was on the game and Walt got on. He was
Bruh,
like, "Yeah, bro."
This
He was
man,
like, he said they done. He was like, "Yeah, bro."
Wait,
we
was
done.
I on there?
You might have been,
bro.
on.
Like Walt was doing really good. Like, but his team, they made playoffs, and they were like, we don't want to pay this extra money
In case we win.
in case we win. Y'all can sit down real quick.
That's what happened. That's what happened with John. That's why he had to
crazy.
leave the team he was on. They won the league to move up to ACB.
Right.
They didn't want to pay him because he was like, "Oh, this is what I deserve." They went and signed a younger guy with less bread. That
Like,
wasn't as good as
like
him.
Yo,
Imagine
John, you
playing-
still owe me lunch, bro. You still owe me lunch.
Yeah.
We went to Madrid. You wasn't there.
By the
You
way,
still owe me lunch, bro.
congratulations! You're getting married. You're having a.
Oh, yeah,
I got to call you
congrats,
in. He's having a kid, so
Damn.
Congrats,
yeah.
bro.
But anyway, sorry. Yeah.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, imagine like playing a Division I season, and then the coach being like, "Oh no, you can't play March Madness now. Like, you gotta sit down."
Like
Yeah.
you gotta chill.
it's like it's like that
That's insane.
level.
Yeah.
Like
Bro,
that
we
Walter
gotta
like
even
literally
think
was
about
there
that.
for like he can tell the story. I don't want to tell the story.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And then they don't have to say
You gotta
anything
bring
to
him
you.
on
Like, they
then.
don't have to tell you that.
They
Yeah.
did, bro. We were playing in the playoff game. I was doing really well, and the other star importer, the other team was playing. He like led the league in points, and we're a third seed. They're like a 6, so they weren't supposed to win. But he has like 22 at the half. I'm subbing into the game at halftime. I'm like, yo, he's on the bench. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I don't know. And then after the game, he's like, my coach wants my stats to be lowered so I can't leave up and move up in leagues. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's crazy. I would have just subbed myself in.
It'd be your own people.
It's
bro.
crazy, bro.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And you don't even know why. And you don't want to be like a head case.
Right.
You don't wanna make a
Then
scene
you can't
out of
get
it.
nowhere.
And then they're
I'm
gonna
not
They're
coachable.
gonna they're gonna
Over
blacklist
with.
you.
Yep.
It's it again. We're not saying the negatives, but it's just again.
You got to be aware.
You
of it.
got to be aware of
Yeah, you
what
gotta
we're
be aware.
going, and you got to just be mentally prepared. Like you said, it's a mental test. It's mental fortitude. Being isolated, being in a country where you don't have people that you're comfortable with, and you got
Grocery
language.
shopping.
you have to read different groceries.
Bro, I was in there
Yo.
for 3 hours, bro. 3 hours.
Joke.
I'm calling my coach. I'm like, yo, I'm trying to use the scan on the
Translate.
phone
Yeah,
for
yeah.
every label. I'm like, I don't know what this means, what this sauce is, the food. I'm like, man, this is actually crazy. But once you get the hang of it, you can just like, all right, I know where this thing is. But that first week, bro, everything took like just double the time. Grocery shopping.
What
I learned how to drive a stick.
Hey, oh,
That's-
shit.
that's
I
very
don't even
cool.
know how to do.
They
that.
didn't have I didn't have the automatic. I had to learn. I had to take stick classes with driving a stick car. That was crazy. Pause. Pause. Let me time out. Let me chill.
What would Gilbert say about that?
Oh,
A stick shift car.
There you go.
Thanks for
Let me
that.
my
That's
fault. My
incredible.
fault.
I just-
I'm looking at rest. I'm laughing. That was
Because you
crazy.
know what I
Rick.
mean? The only thing that was popping in my head is that Lance Stevenson.
The list.
Mike Beasley.
Yo, list.
He sounded like
Mike
talk
Beasley's
to you.
crazy.
We haven't seen
make
that.
my man.
I'm gonna make you dance.
He said,
Lance.
the crowd gonna love you.
He said, I'm going to do it nice and slow.
I'm gonna make you. I'm gonna
The crowd
make you
gonna
dance real sexy. You know, I
Nah,
was
that
like,
was crazy.
Yo,
You sent me that. I was like, what?
yo, hey.
Wait, that's what you
But-
just sent in the chat.
That's-
yeah,
I didn't
that's
even
it.
open it yet.
Yo,
I gotta-
yeah,
No,
that's
that
what
was
he-
crazy.
And I
He
think
said,
that-
"Ooh, the crowd gonna love you. You gonna be dancing and twerking." And he was like, "Nah, that's never gonna happen."
He said it's never happened in my life.
Oh, man.
But who you got? By the way, who you got winning that?
Mike.
I
I
got bees.
I
bro.
don't know, man.
I got
Mike.
I don't know.
Mike
Wait,
offensively is great. Even
But
I
you
think
forget
Lance
Lance
plays.
clamps.
But, like,
That's what I'm
your-
saying.
That's your favorite player's favorite player. Like, you know what I mean?
I
Like,
respect
Bees,
Beasley. He's a walking bucket.
though. Right.
What
But
are
you're
the-
playing.
What are the rules?
They're playing one.
Probably
I
no
don't know.
rules.
There is
No rules.
Go
Well,
ahead.
well,
And they doubled the bread. They said double it.
It's probably like,
He said,
I would say,
he said, put my kids' college fund on. I was like, what?
I would say 4 dribbles only because like they don't need 4 dribbles,
But they
but like
need-
just
they
to
only
get
need
it.
2.
Like they
Is
really only
there a
need
ref?
2.
Yeah,
This guy-
it's like a real like.
Probably.
That's gonna be.
I think
physical as fuck.
Beasley offensively is gonna cook him, but Stevenson
I haven't seen
clamps. Like
Lance
y'all forget
play.
Stevenson clamps, and you
Yeah.
forget he was a walking bucket too. Like this
Where's he
dude-
been playing? China.
Probably.
I don't even
I don't know,
I
man.
be seeing him outside like at
I'm
New
gonna take
York and
Beasley. I'm
stuff.
gonna
Like
take
he's
Beasley.
pulling up, but I don't know what he does.
Remember when we played Lincoln, where he went?
You guys played Lincoln. Huh?
Yeah.
We played.
Did we? That was just a brawl. We were just fighting.
They
half
wouldn't
the
even let
time.
Joel play. They were like, "No, he's from New York. He can't play."
But we was just fighting the whole time. That wasn't even playing. That Drew did. This is like bring it back to high school. He used to set up games like that just to test how we were mentally.
Yeah.
So we're going into the game, and we get pushed, and we're like, all right.
Coney
He's like,
Island, like Lincoln.
he wanted to sit like
Yeah.
their parents are chatting in the crowd. It was basically like a regular like AAU tournament,
Yeah.
like, but the environment forced
But
you to grow.
We talked about that with Jordan when he goes. It's just the environment's different than.
The Connecticut environment.
Oh, that's why
you don't get that.
Yeah, I was in San Francisco for long. I had to go to like.
You don't
I was
get that.
begging my dad to leave to go to
We,
UNBL in New York. I needed that just to
So,
expose my flaws.
The best team we played, honestly, had to be my senior year. We played Lehigh. They had like 4 Division I guys.
St. Luke's.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
probably got
scrimmaged.
50 ball.
Co-
And y'all were
co-
trash
no,
back then too.
Yeah, we were trash. We
We would have 50 balled you
yeah,
guys.
you probably would. But I'm just saying, we ended up losing by I think like 20. They had their best kid went to Villanova that year, and yeah, like it was.
Yeah, I know that was bad.
Oh no,
They was probably trampled.
I gave him 25. Don't do
so
that.
you got
Like,
yours. That's all that matters.
But the rest of my team, the rest of my team wasn't. The rest of my team wasn't.
Yeah,
They wasn't
nah.
ready.
Not at all.
They wasn't ready.
You talk about been bumping Drake. Baby girl. I feel like, let me see you dance, let me see you twerk.
I haven't seen a Drake, at Drake or anything.
It's
in
been,
the past, 2 years.
because it's been a while.
Yeah.
Because, I'm married now, so, like, it looks
Oh,
weird.
So it didn't look weird before. It looks weird now that you're married. That's man.
Welcome back. Sorry, we had to do a quick intermission because JR couldn't miss lift. So which is very important. He's if you guys, we didn't get to talk about his injury, but he did part of his journey again. He did tear his ACL, trying out to get signed last spring or last. No, it was just in the fall.
This was just happening.
It just happened in the fall when he was trying to find a team. And he said he was killing too. So it's just really unfortunate, but it's part of the game, And we want to talk a little bit about mental with Jonas here when we keep going, but actually let's just roll right into that. Like, what's the mental side with coming back from an injury, or even just how'd you, or being in isolation? That's very challenging. Like, how have you? Obviously grown as this young man into this ball player, this man in this today's world, and how have you dealt with that? Like, obviously we talk about it, it's very important, and I talk about it all the time. Like, you're not just a basketball player; everybody's a human being, but there's a lot of components that go to these things, like obviously family and all these things. How have you dealt with it? What helps you? Just for maybe our younger audience, even players overseas, hopefully listening to this.
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, basketball, it's never been a linear path. It's always been bumps and bruises on the way. And I feel like in high school, I was training a lot of the basketball side, but I never really thought about training my mental side. So when I got to college and I wasn't playing right away, like I had to find something just to keep afloat. So I started just listening to a lot of podcasts, listening to what old NBA players used to do to kind of keep them mentally stable. I was doing a lot of journaling. That's when I picked up journaling, just writing down. I would begin the day, and I just kept this tradition on to this day. Beginning of the day, I write 3 things I'm thankful for, my planning for the day, and then just kind of thoughts that are floating around in my head. That's just to get my thoughts out of my brain onto paper. And then I also picked up, towards the end of college, started picking up yoga. So when I got back from Germany, just recently, I was 2 weeks off of basketball, but I was just doing yoga every day. And although it's physical, it's a lot of breathing, a lot of holding poses, just being by yourself. I think that was really helpful because just as much as I practice basketball, I feel like what really elevated my game is, my mental side, getting more confidence in myself, getting more confidence being alone. And then I also picked up reading.
There you go.
10 pages a day. I kept it simple.
There you go.
If I can read 10 pages a day, do my journaling, and then do a 5-minute breathing exercise, I feel like that's a good mental practice just to continue growing habits for years to come. And then that kept with me throughout overseas. So when I felt like I was alone, or I was like, nobody's online, I'm on the game, I have nobody to talk to, can't call anybody, I feel like that really helped me, finding ways to get away from just basketball. Because you're going to get burnt out if you just keep playing 24/7. All of us, you need to work out and be hardworking, but I feel like that's something that really helped me and grow my game and expand and grow as a person. I feel like I needed to find ways to just escape, get from basketball, find new hobbies, because like we said, this isn't forever. So I think that's something that I kind of want to continue to grow on. I'm still learning, still finding new ways to just improve that aspect because I have a lot of ways to go, but I feel like that was just start.
No, and that's good. Go ahead.
You mentioned a little bit earlier about the ISO scoring page, and you were just talking about hobbies and stuff like that. Like, and you were saying like, if this doesn't work out, maybe I'll do the ISO scoring thing. Your ISO scoring page has blown up.
Blowing up.
So talk a little bit about that and like the journey you've had. Also, still chasing your dreams, but also still doing the social media on the, I wouldn't even say side. I would say simultaneously.
Yeah. So like I said before, like when I was finding a team after college, I was just like a waiting period. And I was like, I have a degree in global marketing and a undergrad in sociology and business. And I was like, I want to be able to use those skills one day eventually. And my goal after basketball is to like work for an NBA team, like their social media page, stuff like that. So I was like brainstorming ideas of what I can do. I made an Instagram page called ISO Scoring where I like break down basketball film, clips, and like kind of do detailed explanation of the moves and stuff like that. And I was just posting for fun, like consistently once a day on Instagram. And then I'll probably say like a couple months in, I got to like 20,000 followers.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then I've been posting like consistently three posts a day, morning, middle of the day, and night. And then I'm about to hit 70K right now, but that's been going on for like over a year and a half. And then in Germany, like I posted something on my LinkedIn page, and randomly like some NBA person hit me up through LinkedIn, asked to meet. Learning he's a creator of like a NBA Playmakers program. So I was able to join with the NBA. So I'm like kind of signed with the NBA in terms of like the playmaking program, where I create long videos on YouTube, like breakdown clips, kind of stuff I see on a day-to-day basis, whether it's breaking down a move or breaking down your favorite player or stuff like that, and make long-term film for that. And then on Instagram, I'm also making short-term film. So that's something I do on a day-to-day basis. And then managing that, I'm waking up early morning. I'm asking Ralph for advice.
I was just about to say that like he's posting 3 times a day on almost a backwards schedule. He's overseas, so he's posting for almost Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah.
Morning, middle of the day, and at night. So like even on that schedule, he's still keeping it consistent and posting 3 times a day. So like he is.
Sorry. I was doing the math
He's
about
doing
like,
math
when
he's
like you were like that's like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. where he
Bro.
was.
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, and then also too like, he has reached out, and it's the same thing for basketball. Like for basketball, like when you don't know this certain thing or you're not comfortable with this certain thing, like you reaching out to certain people to try to get it's the same thing he's doing with social media and editing. Like he'll literally, I'll be on a FaceTime with Jonas for like 3 hours, and he's sharing his screen, and I'm showing him, yo, when you clicking this button, you have to make sure you do this and make sure you're looking at here. So he student of the game regardless. Like in life, you should always just be a student of the game, because like you can learn from your peers, you can learn from your elders, you can learn from kids under you. Like you should just always be learning.
Yeah, just not, and don't act like you know it all. Like again, that's even vets like me, like in terms of training game, I'm never like saying like I know everything. I'm just always looking to learn, even from like some of the younger guys. There are trainers that are quote unquote doing better than me in terms of just certain things, and like I still learn and have a relationship with them, and like it's humbling, and it's at the same time it's just like, yo, like whatever you did, let me try to reciprocate some of that, and that way it may work for me, it may not, but again, it's just always being open to learn. And then the other thing that I want to give a shout out to is just like what you're just saying. I want to clip this and send it to him. Is this one of the twins, like Emmanuel, he had surgery, so he's been out. And I remember I have a text message with him. I was like, hey, like just use this time. Like he's going to going to ninth, or he's going to reclass. I don't remember, but he's like he heard it, did surgery on his foot, so he can't really do too much. Obviously, he can dribble, maybe do like some shooting, like sitting in a chair. But I was like, yo, use this time to like rest, like try to explore things. I'm like, what do you like to do? He's like, photos and stuff, draw. I'm like, well, explore that right now. Like, I don't think you hear enough people that are like in terms of basketball trainers outside, like, yeah, you need to get back so we can get on the court. No, like I'm trying to also help build, like you said, the person.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be stuff outside of basketball that you need to enjoy and do and learn and do stuff. And so I'm happy that the fact that you said that. And then also, yeah, I'm hungry. I'm not gonna lie, my stomach's talking right now. Yeah. Well, I also wanted to bring up what else. So this was a thing that, again, you got to be okay with sharing it. So very important, like the mental side of things, right? Did you go see somebody, or did you kind of figure some things out? I don't want to put everything out there. I just want to make sure. Yeah, no, again,
care.
I just want to. I didn't vet this with you before, so
Yeah, I mean, like, I would say, like, I was probably college. Like, I went to see. I never knew what to do. Like,
right.
I always had like people, like elders I would talk to. I would never been afraid of asking for advice. I would hit up Steve. I would hit up Ev. I had somebody like Walt who was at St. Luke's a year before me, and then he went to BU. He went to college, so he was kind of like a little stepping stone of what I can do. So I would hit him up, ask him questions about like, stuff like that. If whatever's going on in my day, we would just talk. Even ask my dad stuff. But then it got to a point where like I was like, there's only so much you can learn. You might need a professional. So I was going to see therapists. I even saw sports psychology in terms of basketball.
That's what I wanted to bring up, really.
It's because in college, like, it was like, I know I can do so much. I feel like I have so much abilities, but obviously you have to make it gel within a team. And I had a hard time balancing, all right, I want to showcase my skills. I feel like I have so much to give, but I know what it takes for a team to win. And that was hard and challenging for me. And I had to see somebody. I was able to meet somebody named Deja, who I've still talked to this day, and she gave me a ton of advice and stuff and habits to take on to this day, like breathing exercises, like before games, like when we're done warming up, I just sit on the benches and I just have my feet down with my shoes off, and I just feel the ground just to be present in the moment. Stuff like that just kind of helped me, but it's stuff I carry on to this day.
So with that, how much do you think that helped you moving forward? Like, and I want to bring this up because, again, we talk about stigmas and things like that. Obviously, mental health is huge. It's Men's Mental Health Awareness Month with this recording. But in general, just, I'm big on it. Like, I always ask, yo, you okay? Like, you look flushed. Are you tired? Or is it just you're mentally drained? Whatever it may be. But, like, with seeing a sports psychologist, right? Was that really worth? I mean, they also have to find the right person too. Yep. But was that really worth it? Do you suggest other athletes do it if they feel like they need it? Like, what do you feel like in terms of if you wanted to tell people about it?
I feel like, honestly, everybody should have it. I feel like there's no negative to having one. I feel like the relationship we built when I had her in college was, we just started off just talking like it's about day-to-day stuff. So sometimes I might go into a meeting and I might not even talk about basketball. I might just be talking about what's going on in my day, like how I'm feeling. But that all translates onto the court. And I feel like it was really beneficial because stuff that we talked about still applies to this day, whether it's in basketball, whether it's in my day-to-day life, just being present and accepting things for what they are and understanding that it might not always be in your control. A lot of the stuff that happens in basketball, you really can't control it. Like, I used to think, like, freshman year of college, I was like, I can't mess up. I don't want to get pulled. I don't want to get off the court. But then I'm realizing as I meet with sports psychology, like, if I miss a shot, who really cares? Like, my dad used to always be like, there's no gun to your head. It's just basketball. Who cares if you miss a shot? Who cares if you turn the ball over? Like, just as long as you run back on defense and get a stop or something like that, nobody really cares.
You heard that? I just want to. Yeah, I want to.
Pressures that, like, your dad is telling you there's no gun to your head, but I feel like some kids, parents have a gun to their head.
Yeah,
and they feel that pressure from their parents to perform. But I also, you said the sports psychologist. Was that something that you sought out yourself, or was that something that was given through the school and through the resources that they had? Because I think that's because I don't know nothing about that, if I'm being honest. So I didn't know if that was something that you did on your own or something that they provided.
So, like,
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, like freshman year, before I came in, they had somebody named George Mumford come in, and I guess he wrote a famous book. He's like really professional. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Very famous.
Book. Yeah.
And we had like individual meetings. It was like mandatory individual meetings, and we just talked like about. And he was like, I remember the first day he came to see me work out, and he was like, I will never forget. He's like, I feel like you have a lot of talent, and I feel like you have a lot to give. You just weren't giving enough. I feel like you were like being a little modest. He's like, don't be scared to show who you really are. And that kind of just opened my eyes. I was like, damn. So then my sophomore year, I was telling my coach in the meetings, like, he was like, what do you guys need from us to get better? And I was like, honestly, like, feel like that meeting was helpful. I feel like if you had a sports psychologist person or somebody I could just talk to about stuff like that, it would help. Because you obviously don't want to go. There's only so much you could say to your assistant coaches, to your head coach, without them looking at you sideways. So.
Yeah.
And that was just time where I could just rant. If I'm upset about a practice, I'm upset about a teammate, how I'm playing, or the coach, I could just say whatever I want. It's confidential. So that was something I asked for, and he found a person. There was 3 options, and I kind of like just talked to each person. I was like, okay, I think she's the best option. And then from there, we just kind of grew and grew. But that was something I sought, I seeked out, and I think a lot of my teammates started to have it. And now I don't have it right now necessarily due to overseas, but I try to find just ways where I can just do it myself in terms of like the practices she taught me, yoga, journaling. Like that's all stuff she taught me that I can just apply to my day right now. And that's going to help me in the long run and right now than me just going out, just doing stuff, playing basketball. If I'm stressed, I have no release. That's just going to make it worse because that, like I said, overseas is a lot of isolation, a lot of mental draining. So if I don't release things or talk to somebody, it's just going to go downhill, and that can affect my game.
I find that so funny because, like, I feel like over here, like, especially for me, basketball is my release, is my isolation because I'm so around everything and everything's moving and everything's what's it called? The fact that it's the opposite for you where it's like, okay, like, no, I need to do something other than basketball.
Yeah.
Like, for me, like, I go in the mornings, like I've said on the pod before, I go in the mornings, I just go shoot. Yeah. Like, I'm just in there by myself and I'm working on anything. Like, you know what I mean? I don't have a game tomorrow. You know what I mean? I don't have to score 20 points this season. Like, you know what I mean? But, like, I'm just in there shooting. So that's my release. That's my release. Yeah. But, like, it's crazy that it could be the opposite where, like, you need the release from basketball.
Yeah. I think that's common. Like, you heard SGA just talk about it. Like, when he won MVP or so, somebody asked him about, like, what do you do to decompress? He's like, I try to just take everything basketball out because it consumes my life so much. Right, so like I just really just spend time with friends and family, try to keep it away from basketball. Like, I think that's true. You know, for some, especially like when you're doing it so much, you're in it so much. It's like, yeah, you might just need a day to just do something and get away from it. And like what I was gonna bring up before was like when I was at Fairfield, I still remember it was like my senior year, like one of the first practices. The head coach of the Mystics, coaching our girl, he brought in a sports psychologist and was like, hey, just so you guys know, this guy is here for you guys. And I just thought like, oh, no, I don't need it. But like, you know, in retrospect, like I wish I went to him.
Never know you need it until you need it.
Yeah, like I didn't. I went through a lot of stuff mentally my senior year with my coach and with the expectations and the internal pressures I put on myself. I just needed, again, it's obviously, you know, retrospect, like it's easy to say that, but like, you know, that's why this is an important, you know, topic that I definitely glad we're talking about really quickly. And you're doing the steps and you're an example of what it leads to and how it could be beneficial.
I think it's important to note too that like those opportunities were given to you before you even knew you needed them or before anything even happened. I feel like a lot of times, sometimes, like
something crazy,
like in high school, like in high school, like just to, you know, show our age a little bit. Sandy Hook happened when we was in high school, right? And then after that happened, they were like, hey, we have grief counselors if you want to go talk about. But it was like, how come that wasn't there to begin with? Like, hey, if you ever anything you want to talk about that's like really weighing on you, whatever, like, please go talk to this person or whatever. And I know you have your guidance counselors or whatever, but it's like my guidance counselor is also trying to get me to college. So like, am I spilling all my beans to the same person that's trying to like advocate me to different schools? Like, I don't know if that's like the same person that should be like, you know what I mean? I feel like sometimes we should separate church and state. Like, you know what I mean? Like we should have this and have that. And I feel like also too, like in high school for me, like one of my boys had a brother who passed, and that was really, really hard for me. And I don't think I ever really like talked about it. And I feel like if there was somebody I could just go in and say like, hey, like this is really bad. Like I don't know how to deal with this. I need somebody to talk about. But like I feel like it was only, for me at least, I feel like sometimes it was only there after something bad happened. It wasn't like, oh, this is here regardless. And like I'm showing you where it is now that something's happened. I just felt like it was like, oh yeah, damn, super unfortunate. Like if you need to talk, do it. Or if you need a break, talk to your teacher. They can let you out of class. But it's like, you know how some people get, like some people abuse it. Like once you know it's a resource, like, oh, I can do this, do that. But it's just like knowing that certain things are in place or knowing that you have those certain outlets should be made known way well before you shit hit the fan. You
Yeah,
know,
a lot
like
of people don't even have like people to like talk to on a day-to-day basis. Like I was blessed. I have a group chat. I could talk to you, you guys. I could talk to Walt. I could talk to like my parents. A lot of people don't have that.
Right.
Like and this life hits you quick. Like I said, from senior to college, that was stressful as it is getting to college. And then the same year, my grandma passes and my cousin passes. So I'm like, man, a lot is happening, and I'm just transitioning into college. Like, a lot of stuff can go wrong. And I was like, I had to find some way to just deal with this, some way to just find someone to talk to. 'Cause it's not easy.
No, especially us being guys.
Yeah,
you know, and
that's
like being macho and holding that shit in.
Yeah.
Nah, I
think that was
cry.
Come on, man. See, you can't put me in this position to laugh at you like that. It's okay to cry, guys.
Definitely is.
okay.
But I didn't know that.
Nah,
Definitely didn't know that.
I ain't gonna lie, I still be holding it in sometimes.
Oh,
bro.
yeah, without a doubt.
I still be holding it in sometimes. Like, you know, I can't shake my male bravado sometimes. It's hard, but you know, sometimes you be needing to cry, bro.
Yeah,
like
basketball. Being overseas, like I said, I always wanted to play overseas, and that was a goal of mine. I play professional. And I still have aspirations of going to the G League, to the NBA, and stuff like that. But when I was over there, and I was really like, my girlfriend was there in Australia. She was able to come there for 3 months for like the visa rules.
Right.
From January to about when I got back in May, I was just by myself. There would be days I didn't even say anything. Like I'm just literally just doing nothing. And I'm like, dang, like I don't know who to talk to. Like this is tough. This is mentally challenging. But I think like after the season, I was able to appreciate like the whole journey I took to get to this point. And I was like, wow, like retrospective looking back, I'm like, man, this is like technically, I'm like, well, that was my first year in Europe, but like technically my second year, I'm like, damn, this was a long journey. And this was a stressful journey, but it was worth it. I wouldn't have it any other way. And I teared up. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was definitely like tears of joy, but it was like, man, there's so much more to accomplish and I have so much more to give. But I feel like it was a blessing just to be here. And I was like, damn, it makes you appreciate the present moment now and all the struggles that you took to get to that point.
Yeah. And again, it's just like everybody's journey is different. Like you said, it's not linear. And again, it's just like, and this is a message for anybody out there. Whatever you're going through, it's not going to last forever. If it's tough, even in the good times, like you got to enjoy it while you're in it and then just appreciate everything that happens along the way, because just you being able to experience that, this is, again, just being very optimistic. And no matter what you experience, it's always a blessing because you are up, alive, and moving well and doing stuff. There's a lot of people that would wish to have the things that you have. So just don't take that. Just remember, keep that in mind when you move forward with certain things. But side note, running a little low on time. What do you want to do? You want to chat about? Are you allowed to speak on NBA things, or
I can speak on it.
I'm just saying, like, just a finals prediction. What do you? I mean, this is the time is recording. What the happened last
I was
night?
spamming in the chat. I was
The
like,
Halley.
oh my God.
The
Shout out Joshua, man. He's a loyal OKC fan, my little brother. He was devastated yesterday. He was like screaming in the shower. Yeah. He was tight.
Yo, you know what's funny?
He has been OKC.
I
Bro.
went
He's
to-
thinking about it.
I went to
10 years.
Blind Rhino, right? If you're from the Newark area, you know where Blind Rhino's at. I went to Blind Rhino. I'm with my
the
boys.
wings?
Yeah, I'm with my boys, and
Worms?
they're down. They're down, right? And then we was just talking about betting or whatever. I was like, see, me, I'll probably put 25 on the Pacers money line right now. And this was at half.
I don't gamble.
I was like, oh no, yeah.
I don't gamble.
Me.
don't do
I ain't
that.
placed a bet, but I'm just saying me. But yeah,
I can't.
like I was like, damn, I'll probably put 25 on the Pacers money line. Like I'm just saying that because I'm like, yo, like Pacers could very well come back. And then I literally watched the second half and they came all the way back and I'm like, bro, like, see, I told you, bro, like that.
What would the payout have been?
Well, what's up with you? I just told you I ain't
He said we're not pocket watching. What you mean?
Oh, my fault.
What's up with him?
My fault.
You know what I mean? Like, hey,
My
chill
bad.
out.
My bad.
Chill out.
I think it's gonna go to 6.
I still think OKC
I
winning,
think
though.
OKC is
Yeah, that's
still
what I'm saying.
going
Like,
to win.
I still think they win it.
Just because their defense is so good. I think Shea needs a consistent complementary player. Jalen Williams has been great this postseason. Chet's been great. And I love Alex Caruso on that team. I think they mix the mesh. I just think that the Pacers are just rolling right now, though, which just scares me.
I think I got Pacers in 6.
Oh, wow. 6.
Being bold. I want to be bold and say 5, but
You know who I love? I love Andrew Nemhard's
Yo,
game. That's why I
Nembhard.
can like I feel like I feel like I can.
his handle is tough.
You see that?
You see,
James-
yo,
Oh,
yeah, nah, I ain't gonna lie. I ain't
Step
gonna
back
lie.
3.
I'm breaking
was
that
kinda
down on
wild.
ISO
That was-
scoring too. Don't
that
get
was
it twisted.
good.
I ain't gonna lie. I can't watch my best player, my MVP, get hit like that.
Yo,
late in the
and they're
game,
cut, and
that
they're
was
they're
late
country,
in the
they're
game.
brother, they're tight.
They
That's
are.
what I'm
They're
saying.
countrymen.
Yeah.
And they was going at each other.
I'm like, nah, come on.
And love to see it. Love to
What?
see it. That's more to break it down.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing though. Like when I see a great clip, I'm like, damn. Like I try to find, I scramble on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Threads. I'm hitting you guys up like, you see this clip, and I'm also like, I don't got all the answers too. Like I'm learning. I play professional basketball. I'm learning it. So there's very well a lot of videos I'm sending in the group chat. I'm like, yo, Steve, what move is this? Like, help me explain this because I want to teach people, but I'm also learning it myself, which I feel like helps. And I think that's something that another reason why I picked up this hobby is like I'm constantly watching basketball. I'm seeing tips and tricks of what people are doing and stuff I don't even notice.
And I feel like Jonas could attest to this too, and I've said it on the pod like a couple of times now that like once you like watch film, like I know everybody's been watching film, but like once you watch film to edit,
Yeah, you see a lot of stuff.
You're watching it like 6-7 times, like actually like like you see it again, like you're seeing it again. You get to relive it again. You get to pause. You get to stop at that point, and it like you damn near learn the moves all over again. Like it's
You
like
know what shade film I've watched? Oh my
it's
God.
like you really get that aspect of like, oh no, I can really break somebody down. So when I look at somebody and I see them playing, I'm like, oh yeah, I got that.
I mean,
Yeah.
cheat code. All right, this is a cheat code for you guys out there.
Free game.
If you want to really like learn the game, like try to break down some film on your own. Like try to. I mean, I'm not saying you could do what these guys are doing.
You can do what I'm doing.
But if you do it, like
I
you,
like in the detail. Though.
I feel like the detail. If you like, again, I'm the best. Like I'm 33.
Damn.
Yeah. All right.
I'm 25. I'm old, bro.
All right. And I am the best ball handler I've ever been in my life. And I'm not in shape the way I used to be. And it's not because like I'm working out crazy. It's just I study more. I'm watching body movements. I'm learning. I'm teaching it. So now I in turn have to know how to do it.
I feel that same way. Like literally, I was saying like earlier about like the footwork and me being a big man when I was younger helped me with being a guard now. Like being at the workouts and recording the workouts, like I feel like I got every move in the and it's crazy
like-
because I played like very light pickup the other day with Drew. Shout out my boy Drew Rivera.
I heard
And he hit me. He hit me and was like after the game and he was like, oh yeah, you know how you been, because we hadn't caught up in a while, and he was like, yo, the game's smooth. I said,
Telling
yo,
you.
I said, yo, honestly, it's probably the like technically sound. It's probably the best I ever been.
It was getting to a point like I was watching film and I was breaking down like Jalen Brunson, for example, and I would just try it in the game, like some of his post ups. I remember like I broke down like I did like a video on like underrated or like undersized guards and how to score like better, and it was like him getting on the 2 feet or like turning around and backing somebody down and doing like a shot fake step through. I'm in the game. I'm like, I might as well just try it. And it
like,
worked. And I'm like,
thinking about it,
damn.
you're like, damn, like it's working for bro. He in the NBA.
I said, I
Like,
might as well
can
try
do
it.
that.
And it worked. And again, I said, man, I might add this to my bag.
Bro.
So it's definitely
This-
like, it's cool to see that. And it helps you learn.
Yeah, and that's I'm not saying it's a regret, but it's something that I wish I did when I was younger, and then I wish going back to where we talked about developing you. I developed you guys. Like I think I did film here and there, nothing crazy, but like I started doing some film when you were in college, like JR in college, so we can watch like where you're scoring and stuff. But like I wish I did it sooner,
Me too.
where it was just like,
Yeah.
you know, hey, like, you know, your game is comparable to this guy or this girl, and let's watch how you can do. Like, you know, like I say, like I think Emmy, girl who I train, can be very much so like the girl Georgia Amore, you know. And now I called myself out on you know, public here. Now I gotta do a cut up for her, and I gotta send it to her like where she can take some stuff. And I think again, it's just like, do you have a coach that can do that for you? Do you have? Are you asking?
Fuck that. Can you do it for yourself?
That's
you
true.
want to hoop.
Details matter.
They already hoop. We already hoop. Like, do you want to do it for yourself? Like, because Steve gonna go the extra mile. He always gonna go the extra mile, right? That's why he's one of the best trainers in Connecticut. But if you don't want it for yourself, then it's like it's hard to then reach out for help, because like you got to do it. You got to do the brunt of the work. Like you got to do the most of it.
Yeah.
It's got to be 80-20. Like I got to be doing 80% of the work, and he gonna help me with the stuff I don't know.
Yeah.
But like if you think there's somebody you're comparable to, like somebody that you has your game, like that's what you on. Like for me, D-Wade was my favorite player. Like I watch D-Wade highlights all day. And other than that, I'm probably watching Home Team Hoops, Hoop Mixtape. You know what I mean? But like that,
Shout out Hoop Mixtape.
that was the creativity side of it. You know what I mean? That was like
Yeah.
me like searching for all the other stuff. Like I had this one post on my Instagram years ago. I took it down, but Marcus Levette, when he came down and he
shot like a
slipped,
guard.
he did the tween, he slipped, he
the
got
spin
up and
move.
spun.
Yeah.
I did that same shit in a summer league. I promise you. And I posted that shit side by side, and I was just like, oh yeah, imitation is the best form of flattery or whatever. And I'm like, for me, that was like, oh yeah, I made it. Nigga.
That's how it starts,
I'm doing the
though.
moves that they did. And ironically enough, me and Marcus Levette ended up going to St. John's at the same time.
Yeah.
And like I would see him and I'd just be like, damn, like if only he knew, like I really used to watch his mixtape morning,
Night.
eat breakfast, go to
Yes.
school, watch it on the way to school, get to school, eat lunch, watch that shit like all the time. So like just really watching somebody that you feel like your game is comparable to is amazing.
I don't think we have enough of.
Too many people getting mixtapes. That's
yeah,
why.
that's. I think it
Back
used
then,
to-
you was only nice if it like
yeah, if you
had
got a
you had to
mixtape,
be
so
nice.
people used to like watch it, be like, "Oh, yo, this was actually tough."
had to be
You
tough.
had to earn the right to get a mixtape. Yeah.
Now
that's like an
everybody-
old head now. Dang.
No.
But that's a
what
fact.
it is.
That's how it started. Like that's how all this passion. Like you guys, my friends. Like back in the day, when, like every mixtape, I can like hear the beat and know who was playing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's how like crazy I was with it. And that's another reason why I started the page. Like I just loved mixtape, and I was never afraid to ask for advice. Like I feel like I went into it. I started growing a little popular, and I was asking questions. I was hitting up Ralph. I hit up Shaky, Zach, my boy Zach, who makes videos for the Celtics. I was DMing like people like Swiss Cultures. I was hitting up everybody. Like, and I was asking like, yo, how did you make this video? How do you make these edits? And I think that just helped me in the long run. And I feel like that's something people got to do more. Ask advice to people in basketball, people in life. Like that's just something that will help you grow as a person.
Right.
And that can just keep you elevated.
Just the time.
Oh damn.
Yeah, we gonna have
Chat.
to.
Hey, listen, we could keep talking
Wait,
for like
so
3 hours.
Yeah, I know we could keep going. All right, two things. If you had advice to your younger self, give yourself a tip right now, or couple things, advice.
If I had advice for my younger self, honestly, I would just say be present, and then, be present is the main thing. I feel like I wanted to get to some stage so fast that I just didn't appreciate where I was now. Like when I was at St. Luke's, I was like, man, I can't wait to get to college. I can't wait to play Division I. And I didn't appreciate sometimes through that process in high school. And then when I got to college, man, when I get overseas, when I get professional, I can't wait for this moment. So I think just being present where your feet are and enjoying the ride is not going to be easy at all. And you don't want it to be easy. I think that's the great thing about it. I love the fact that my path was just so crazy and outrageous that it was just – because it's unique. It's different from a lot of people. So I think that's what made me who I am as a player and as a person. So I wouldn't change it for the world. So I think embrace the hard, embrace the challenge, and be okay with it being difficult. It's not going to be easy, but you want that. If you want to grow as a person, as a player, you want it to be hard.
There you go. When do you leave again?
I go. I'm not saying where I'm going, but I'm leaving the 19th.
And then you're done. You're not coming back to Connecticut.
I probably will come back. Towards the end.
You leaving on Juneteenth, my brother?
Juneteenth, yes sir.
You know what I mean?
Celebrate with my people.
Word.
That's Simone's birthday. The wife.
okay,
Shout out the
my
wife.
fault.
Anyway.
I just love like not arguing with her, but getting in debates where I just love it.
Yeah. Anyway.
She's probably salty at me now. She's definitely tired of me. I'll be getting debates about anything.
Shout out your pages before we sign off.
Shout out at ISO Scoring on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and shout out Jonas Harper _ That's my regular personal page. If you want to follow me, you can if you want.
Man, y'all know what it is. Y'all know who I am,
Too
man.
real.
I know who it is,
man.
man.
No introduction necessary.
Yeah, you real, Ralph. Stephen J. Know that training, but mainly follow the basketball list. Like, subscribe, leave a comment, please. Again,
If you want to be on, let us know.
Yeah, we're serious. We say this every time, but nobody be hitting us up.
I
crazy.
Nobody want no free.
Fiending to get on the page.
Free promo. You know
Free
what I mean?
promo. Yeah,
Hey,
you got a
if you got a
business.
product, you know what I mean? You want to kick us some product? Let us know. I'm cool with whatever.
Road to
we come through.
100,000 followers.
If it's ass, we gonna tell you it's ass. So don't.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're not afraid to hold back.
Yeah.
So, but all right, that's a wrap on episode 52, and we'll see you guys soon.
Yo, one more time, tell the camera how nice I was when I was younger.
Man, this dude was a 5'5" center, bro. But I was like 5'2", but I was like pretty fat. So I didn't really get into my build into my body until like later on, to be honest.
I'm trying to see.
But he could touch backboard, bro. Touching backboard in 5th grade was crazy.
I'm trying to see if this big is gonna come tomorrow. So I can confirm